A few other policy points wrapping up here. One is economic impact. The saturation of fully automated vehicles is decades away. It's been decades in the making. It's not going to be the case that next year, all of a sudden, every car on the road is fully autonomous. That's not going to happen. The average U.S. car is more than 12 years old at this point. So we're looking at 10 years before you have a significant fraction, and 20 or 30 before you get most of the cars switched over to autonomous. This is a multi-decade kind of progress. And that assumed they're ready, which they're not ready. It may take another 10 before they're even ready for that process to really start. For the foreseeable future, this is going to be a city-by-city, route-by-route kind of expansion of this technology, and it will be coexisting with human drivers for decades. Now, even when we get to the point that there are a whole bunch of self-driving trucks, for example, or self-driving robotaxis, there'll still be humans needed for remote support, maintenance, and testing. Testing is never going to stop. Every new software update needs safe testing. Every change in the environment needs testing. So there will always be humans required, but they'll be in different roles. And we'll still need people for the last few feet of delivery, or maintaining cargo security, etc. So things will change. Technology always changes jobs, but they won't change to the point that humans are simply no longer required. That is a long, 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 long way off, too far away to plan for at this point. The next thing is required arbitration is an issue. Arbitration impairs transparency and therefore safety, because if there's a secret outcome to an arbitration proceeding, whatever safety lessons might have been learned are not made public, and there's no pressure on the industry to change or to learn the lessons. And it also degrades the balance of power if mandatory. To be clear, if both parties genuinely want arbitration, that's fine. But the issue is required arbitration where someone who may have been harmed by an automated vehicle needs to go through arbitration and has no choice in the matter. That in the long term is going to impair safety. Finally, there are a number of equity issues that need to be addressed. For example, will underserved populations benefit without regulatory mandate? There may be a claim that, well, autonomous vehicles will provide transportation equity to several different stakeholders, but if the regulators don't require that and the companies find it unprofitable to do that, you may not get that outcome even though it was promised. The next one is that, will road testing impose risk on the vulnerable? There are reasons why one might test robotaxis in low-income areas. For example, the expected cost of doing harm to a resident may be lower. Now, while we don't know if any companies are behaving that way, that's a possibility that should be kept an eye on, and the municipalities should have the ability to, for example, review testing plans to make sure they're not exposing vulnerable populations to elevated risk compared to other populations within their city.